Hello everyone, William with Alliance Concrete Pumps. On today's Tech Tip Tuesday, we're going to review the 100-hour service interval. We're going to go over the outriggers on this unit here. So there's some grease points, some adjustment points, and some lubrication points that we're going to cover in this episode. So stay tuned and we'll go through them all. For the rear outriggers, it's very simple. There's 4 greasing points on this pivot point here. There's one on the top, one on the bottom. These individually grease the bushings on this outrigger, as well as there's 2 grease points on the extension cylinder in behind. So a couple pumps of grease, 3-4 pumps, or until you see visual fresh grease in each point, or that crack noise you hear is what you want to look for on this location. This is our rear extension cylinder. There's 2 grease points, one here and one in the rear. 2 to 3 pumps every 100 hours. You'll watch the grease coming out in the location here. Clean that area with a rag from time to time to keep the dust from sticking to that area and making it dirty. Some units have swivel feet. There's a grease point on the foot. Make sure we're keeping this area clean of any dirt. There are a lot of dust and dirt tracks in here, mud from the job site. Wash it out, but then purge fresh grease in there. If you're having issues with this greasing, you can take off these half moons, take off the foot, clean out the foot, and then check that. So I've put this foot on the ground also because I've taken the tension off the rollers down under here. So these rollers right now are free, and that's something that we want to check. We don't want to see any flat spots on these rollers. That's a point of inspection. If you're getting a flat spot on one of these rollers, you'll want to unbolt it and get a new roller. These rollers are adjustable. As you can see, there's bolts on the outside. So if for some reason you have a lot of gap in here and your outrigger droops down when you extend it, you can pivot this as an eccentric pin. So as you rotate the outer flange, it will go taller or lower. These you will grease also 2 to 3 pumps every 100 pumping hours or so. Also in this area, keep that area clean. Too much grease will attract dust, and that dust will cause this area, these rollers, to get seized up. So behind this cover, on the passenger side of the unit, I'm going to expose the driver's side front outrigger. So I've extended the driver's side front outrigger about 4 to 6 inches outwards, just to show access to the grease point in behind here. So in behind here, we have a set of rollers. It's on the top of the outrigger. So we want to make sure, same like the bottom of the outrigger, we want to make sure these top rollers, there's no flat spots on them. Give them a couple shots of grease. Check the adjustment on here. It's a little T-bar, so it's got a little adjustment here. If you're finding your outriggers drooping down, also you can adjust this up. Or if you're finding the outrigger sticking or you need to do maintenance on it, you can lower it down to get the outrigger out. On some units, we have a continual chain, and there will be a sprocket inside of here that will have a grease point from the bottom. So we'll grease that at the time of greasing your outriggers. When you have this cover off to inspect this area, you can check that sprocket, make sure that the grease isn't piling up in the outrigger box, and also clean the chain off. If you're going to lubricate your chain, clean the chain off in this location, and then as someone operates the chain, the outrigger in and out, you can lubricate that chain with your lube of choice. On the front outrigger here, we have a chain. This chain, we use a dry lube here at Alliance to lubricate this chain. I put this cardboard guard here, so when we're spraying, we use a dry spray. Spray it on, you can take this off, then you're not leaving a lot of residue on there. Another thing to do is if you're using a wet spray, it's good to take a rag with a little bit of solvent or degreaser or something, clean this chain off and reapply fresh lube instead of putting new lube on the old chain. This chain has an adjustment here as well as in the back. If you're noticing this is very slack and you got a lot of need to take that slack up, you can adjust this chain up to do that. As well as on the units with the continual chain on the 38-meter 4-section and down, you'll find that there will be a chain sprocket inside there, and you can lube it from just this area here, you can go in there while someone operates it. Be careful of any pinch points, but you can lubricate that with your spray of choice and keep that chain lubricated.